bit more about Brian. So Brian Morrison is the founder of and managing director of Biz Social Network, a business networking community developed to bring businesses together to build relationships and do business. Brian's background is in the charity sector. After being a mental health nurse in his late teens, Brian launched Biz Social Networking in 2014 with face-to-face meetings in Scotland and northwest of England until lockdown in March this year, and then decided to launch Biz Social Networking online when he noticed his members and many more businesses around the UK struggling to get seen online. Brian Morrison, the floor is yours for 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Now I am trying to work out how I actually share my screen.
So if you just go down to the bottom, it should say share screen, and then what you've got at the front should pop up.
Okay. Give me a sec, folks. I'm just going to check the timer as well. Right. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm now going to try this. And okay. Oh, it's not showing. For some reason, it's not showing what I've got on my screen.
So have you pressed share screen?
Yep.
Okay, and have you then clicked on to what you wish us to see?
Right, sorry, hold on. Try again. Share screen.
And then click on what's on your screen that you want us to see, i.e. your presentation.
And then click share.
Right, okay, it's not doing it. It's okay, no problem. I will speak because I am not very technical. So yeah, hi everybody. Just first of all, you can hear me okay, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm actually going to just speak to you and tell you a bit about me. I believe in every networking community, referral community, I will tell you a bit about Biz Social, but I strongly believe as well that it's about the person. It's about the person, the individual of who you are actually going to be recommending or doing business with. So I want to start off by telling you a little bit about me, where I've come from, why I have set up Biz Social Networking online, and especially actually why I've become a member of Team, because it's right up the street of what I'm looking to do to help others. Okay. As you can tell with my accent, yes, I am from that funny place called Scotland. And I was born in 19... not that long ago, especially not as long as maybe other Scottish members in this community. So I was born in 1970. For the first few years of my life, I would guess that it was the same as any other person, any other child. For the first few years, I lived with my mother and my grandparents, and that was it. Life seemed normal to me, but you don't know what normal is. And by the time I was 8 years of age, my mother very quickly came to me and said to me one day, "We're moving to our own house." Up until then, we lived with my grandparents, and I never had my own bedroom, nothing like that. And my mum said, "We're going to our own place. You will have your own bedroom." And I'm this little kid excited, and we moved. It was great because my grandfather was a very aggressive gentleman, just not the kind of person that you would like to live with 24 hours a day. We moved to this house and I was all excited. I started going to a new school, and then I realized that life was not all rosy because there was only me and my mother. The reason being that my father worked away in the oil rigs, and when I was a few years of age, my mother and him broke up. But the story around this, and it will make sense later on, is that when he came through to Glasgow to visit me, he arrived one day at the train station and my mother was not there. My mother, unfortunately, decided that she was going to not give my father the new address, not turn up at the train station any longer, and he was never going to see his son again. So that unfortunately happened. My father kept coming, I found out years later, every week on a Saturday, hoping that my mum would be there with her son and with his son. But no, I never arrived there with her. So I never got to see him again from I was about 2 years of age, I believe. My father then died in 1977. And I, as I say, was 8 years of age and we were living in this new house. I come in from school one day and unfortunately there was a few adults at the front door and they said, "Hello, are you Brian?" And I said, "Yep." And they said, "Okay, we're taking you away." I started screaming, and long story short, so that I don't go into this too long, is that they were social services. They had been a report made anonymously that there was concern for my safety. My mother was mentally ill, and I was being physically abused, and so I was taken away from that home and brought up in care. So fast forward till I was 16 years of age, and I then came out of care and became homeless on the streets of the UK, in London, sleeping in doorways. Now, that was my life. Now, why does that make sense to where I am today? Okay, fast forward, I had 20 years of alcohol addiction straight away following homelessness, and I just didn't have a life. And luckily enough, one day a doctor said to me in the hospital, "Brian, unfortunately, you've got 6 months to live." That was in March 2005. Okay. So everybody was like, "Oh, poor Brian, poor lad, got brought up in a children's home." Oh, believe me, when I went into the children's home, I was the happiest lad out there. Why? Because I met other kids that were loved by people, and it was my way of life. So fast forward again to that day when I was told I had 6 months to live. I then was told that, and I didn't know how to stop drinking. Luckily enough, touch wood, I took advice that day and I went into treatment. I've now not drank in 15 years. And what happened was I came out of treatment and I didn't know what to do. I was a mental health nurse previously, and I didn't want to go back to that. I wanted to help people that struggled with alcohol. How could I do that? There was no money. I couldn't just work and not earn money. The only thing I knew what to do was network. So that's why Biz Social Networking was born. I wanted to do something I love to do, and I wanted to help people at the same time. So Biz Social Networking was set up, I would say 6.5 years ago, and it was to help businesses, social enterprises, which is non-profit businesses, to really grow. But with 50%, half of all the memberships go into a pot of money, which would help me to continue supporting people that struggled with alcohol or mental health issues. We have grown, we have really grown since lockdown. Lockdown came and there was no income. All income stopped, which meant that all the support would have had to stop for all the people I was supporting, because I had to travel to places. I needed money to do that. And so what do I do? So there was no income. And then I decided to go in to try network marketing and all sorts of stuff. So it got to the point that we went online. And now that's what I'm doing. We run an online networking community. Exciting news is that from the 4th of February, we will be running 150 online networking events per year. We're going international, which means that I can start to now support others struggling with alcohol addiction or in recovery internationally. I believe wherever these memberships are coming and bought from, that country and that area has to be supported. So I will run a helpline, online forum. So I wanted to really just come here today, share with you why this social networking was born. It's not just your little networking group to help. There's a reason that it's here. So that's me, Brian Morrison, the founder of BIS Social Networking. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, Brian. Thank you so much for sharing your story and the reasons why you want to do what you do. We have 2 minutes left. Does anyone have a question that will allow you to help Brian connect with who he wants? So Brian, can I just ask you, who would be the most awesome power partner for you so that all of us in the team can connect you with the people who are going to help you the most?
Okay, number one would be, I've already made one here by being connected. Power partner is like team referral networking. It's other networking organizations who maybe, a lot of networking organizations do not like to let other networking organizations in because they fear taking members away. That's not me. I believe in doing vice versa. Like I promote team with my members. So number one is definitely other networking organizations would be mine.
Awesome, fantastic. We've got time for another question. Guys, is there anyone that wants to sort of put a question to Brian to help him or to help you understand how to help him?
No question, but a great comment for you, Brian. I just did a Monday Motivational Live before I came on here, and it was about the words we speak out of our mouth. And my friend, I have to tell you, I am so proud of you because hearing your story, you could have easily went down another path in life and nobody would have blamed you. And you chose to make sure what was coming out of your mouth and in your mind. And that's why you're at where you're at today. And I just want to say, you just keep going, my friend, because you are going places and you are great. That was an awesome, inspirational story, Brian. I'm serious. Thank you.
Thank you.
Romy, thank you so much for that. And Brian, big round of applause from all the Inspire Connectors for a great presentation. So thank you so much for sharing.